Hey Internet, Harris here, and GoodNotes 5 is out, and I'm excited about that. Today I am comparing it to Notability 4. This is GoodNotes 5 versus Notability 4. Let's check it out. This is what your home screen looks like. You can choose between this view and this view. Inside of a folder, you not only have access to your notebook, so this is my first year writing notebook, but then any documents or any other file type that you import, you can have inside of a folder, or you can just have them all out on your home screen, so you have the option to organize it as you want, and there is unlimited folder nesting with this. Also on your home screen, you have the search. This will search through all of your documents, but both of these apps basically have that feature of searching through all your documents. And then you have a little bit of a favorites tab, so anything that you favorited. So I have some favorited pages here, and they'll show up there. If we hop over to Notability, you can see that it looks a bit different. So you have everything organized on the left, no matter which orientation you are in. And basically you have your subjects, and then you have your dividers. So I have one for school, and I can see my classes there. I have one for YouTube. I can see my classes there. And that's basically it. There's all notes, recent notes, and unfiled notes. One thing that this does have would be themes. So if I click that button, I can go into here, and I can change the theme. So I can go to dark mode, and that's free. I don't really like that personally, but there's the light, the dark, and then you can pay for a few more options. I don't love that you have to pay for more options, but if you use this all the time, it might be something worthwhile for you. And then all of your settings, and both of these do have iCloud syncing, so I never have to worry about them going from device to device. It just does that for me in iCloud. Okay, so let's go into a document. So this is Notability. You can see it has mostly full screen. You do have a title bar up top, but when you scroll, that goes away, and then you're left just with this up top. You can go back, you can share it or export it, which is pretty simple, and then you can add text. You can use the pen tool. When you click on that, you have the default thickness, but then you also have one that is pressure sensitive, so if you go at an angle or press harder, it will adjust that. Then you also have all of your pen thickness options and your colors, and you can select a color, and you can even use the eyedropper if you want to select a color. If you go over to the highlighter, you can see it's the same ordeal, pretty much exactly the same. Your colors, you can't vary the shade or the intensity of your highlighter, and the same with thickness. Now, one thing you'll notice is that when you are highlighting and you highlight something, but then if you continue to highlight it, it gets darker and darker and darker to the point where it will cover up your text. So this highlights over the text. Then there is the eraser. Now the eraser does not have partial erasing, so it is going to erase the whole thing. So if you have a figure and you go to erase, it looks like you're erasing partially, but no, the whole thing is gone. So if I just tap, the whole thing's gone. No partial erasings. I do not like that that is the only option. But then you have your selection, and you select something, and you can rotate it, scale it, whatever you need to do. I love the selection on here because just with your fingers, very intuitive, you can resize things just like that. Then you also change the style. So you can change the thickness of your pen as well as the color there. And then you see some other options: convert to text, cut, copy, delete, and then you have your hand tool, which is simple. And then you have the nice ability to record while you're going. So this will record audio as you are going, and anything that you write. So then if I do that, and then I end the recording, I go back and I play this recording when it gets to that point. So let's fast forward, and you can see it will redraw my note as it is playing the audio that it recorded. And that's just a sweet feature if you're somebody that's ever going to record a lecture or record something as you're going. Outside of that, you have the ability to import photo, take a photo, add a GIF, add a figure, so drawing. There are web clips you can add, and stickies. So basically, if you wanted to add some lined ruling in the middle of your page, you can do that, and that's kind of a nice customization. And you can change the paper style just like that. So if you want to just add a little bit of lined ruling, you can do that. You also have your all tabs view, or all your pages, so you can scroll through on the side. So you can go through all of your pages just like that. Your bookmarks, you can search, and then you can change up your paper style. It's pretty limited in the amount of styles, but you have some nice backgrounds and themes if you want to change that. That's pretty simple. Other neat features, you can turn on straight lines. So if you're drawing and you do something like this, it will straighten out that line. That's really awesome for drawing in shapes. So you see it straightens out that line. And I put a little bit of wiggle into this. It'll give me the option to straighten that out, and that is very handy for drawing shapes. Also new with the newest update of Notability is the ability to, yes, finally you can zoom out. Something that I love from GoodNotes is that you can actually zoom out on your document, so that is awesome, so you can see more. And that is the same for portrait and landscape, but this does have vertical scrolling only, so in your documents it will have vertical pages, and as you can see, it will go on to the next page. So you can see the page separation there, but your drawings will go on to the next page. They're not isolated and not separated. Now Notability also has the swipe in feature that you can add a page, so you can have two pages open at once. That is something that is very nice. You can have two documents going at once, something that GoodNotes does not offer, and that's definitely a big feature if you're somebody that is wanting to multitask and have two notes open at once. That's actually a big power user feature of Notability, and that essentially is Notability. So let's now compare it to GoodNotes. So we're before on Notability where you had all of your pages off to the side, and here you have more of a grid view, which allows you to see everything at once instead of having to scroll through, but it does pull up a whole page, so whichever one you like better. Now, of course, GoodNotes was the one that originally had the zoom in and out, and of course you can still do that here. You can zoom all the way out on a document, but when you're doing it in Portrait, you actually can't zoom out as far as you can on Notability. So that's one plus on Notability, is the fact that you can zoom out further in Portrait, as you can see like that. But we have that, which we showed you. You have your search, your bookmarks, your export. You have forward and back, which is nice because on Notability, you only have an undo button, and if you want to redo, you have to pull up the undo and then hit the redo. I find this much more convenient, and I don't know why Notability has the way it does, where if you want to undo something and then redo it, there's the undo. If you want to redo, you have to hold that down. I don't understand why it does that. Then you can add things, so you can also add a page, you can add an image, a picture, or you can import something, and then you have your settings. But if we go down, we can see that we have our pen options, and this is nice because it gives you the fountain pen, the ball pen, and the brush pen. So if we use the ball pen, we can see that it is not pressure sensitive, but then if we go to the fountain pen, you can see that it is pressure sensitive. And then there's the new brush tool, which is pretty much just a little bit more artistic. Now, one thing I don't like about GoodNotes 5 is the fact that you cannot fine-tune your size, whereas on GoodNotes 4, you could actually choose what you wanted. So I could do like 0.35 if I wanted to, which is actually my sweet spot, but instead I have to choose between 0.3 and 0.4, but I can customize 3 quick controls up here, as well as 3 quick control colors, or I can go into the custom. Then there is the eraser, and the eraser is nice because you can choose between erasing the entire stroke or not, something that Notability doesn't offer. You can erase highlighter only, so it'll only erase highlightings, which is just super cool, and I can undo that. And then you can also have it auto deselect, so whenever I erase something, it'll go back to the pen tool. Double tap to erase, and it will flash back to my pen tool, which is very handy. So the eraser has some very nice options that Notability definitely does not have. Then if we go into the highlighter option, you can see that it highlights underneath the text. So no matter how many layers I add, it'll darken the highlighter, but it will not diminish the text that is above it because it does highlight underneath. So it has that nice advantage over Notability as well. You can add shapes here, which will basically just auto add a shape, which is something new here. So that is nice that it does have the shape selection, and you can also do it with a fill color, so you can customize that. You have your selection tool, which is not as nice as Notability's. It doesn't have the little ant trail selection, but you can still move it around. You can't pinch to zoom in and out. So if you have a selection, you cannot just pinch to zoom to make it bigger or smaller, or to rotate. You have to select that, resize, and then you have the ability to do that. So it's just not as intuitive as Notability. And of course you have your import options, your photo, import a photo, take a picture, add text, etc. Now this has a nice mode that you can go into full screen just like that and browse through. So I'm really a big fan of the changes that GoodNotes has made. Basically it just allows for a lot more customizations, and also you can change between up and down vertical pages or traditional horizontal pages where you swipe side to side, more like a traditional notebook. And they do have distinguished lines, so if you go into the pen mode, the pen will not go page to page. So that is the difference there. GoodNotes now basically just allows for a lot more customization. You can customize the page style, which direction it goes. You can customize your eraser, you can customize your highlighter, you can customize your pen options more. Notability is an awesome app, and truthfully I kind of like using it a little bit more with the writing, and the quick rotate selection feature is much better on Notability. But the eraser options, the page style options, which if I can show you here, there are just a lot of template options for both portrait and landscape. So if you're really a big fan of the recording feature, that's something that Notability definitely offers, and being able to play back your recordings is awesome. GoodNotes said they're going to do this. When they do that, I think this will be the end-all be-all note app, but until then, this does have that advantage. This does have the nice straight lines feature, which this actually has in the highlighter options, which I forgot to show you, but you can have it do an automatic straight line with your highlighter. They're both great apps. They have their own organization method. They both have iCloud sync. They're both going to allow you to take beautiful notes with pictures and highlighting, but this just does a few things better now, such as highlighting, erasing, with more customizations, and I think the customizations and the options make GoodNotes awesome, but Notability is still really good. I want to know which one you are interested in. Leave a comment down below which app is better for you and which one you're going to use. If this video helped you out, make sure to leave a like and hit subscribe down below to stay up to date with all of my new videos. But thank you so much for watching.